from a brokie's point of view, he got wrecked because of the Matrix attack on his livelihood. You know, because he didn't want to take no particular sort of medical therapy, we shall call it. And because of that, right, you know, it ended up myself being not able to work in a particular designated field. However, at the same time, there's a cryptocurrency called HEX. It did a 10,000x. That is right, a 10,000x. I am not even kidding. Go over here, have a look. I'm not sure if it's documented, but it does have HEX mining averages 30% returns a year because remember the word average? It means you take 1 plus 1 plus 1 and divide it by 3. And that is your average, right? So the 10,000x is included in that. And also, when HEX was first released, it was not worth much at all. Now, besides that, right? So forget about that. Forget about HEX for a second. Forget about Pulse Chain for a second. Forget about Pulse X. Don't look at Go Pulse. You know, you can see how everything's trending, tracking. Make sure though to check out, because you probably already know what those things are. Pulse LN, right? Pulse LN might just be, now I don't want to compare DEXs or nothing, but Pulse X, you know, it does have some big, deep liquidity pools, right? And if you understand anything about cryptocurrency and gig economy, you might understand that it might take you a long time to earn, say, $500 a week to be able to pull out $57 million in liquidity, right? At these prices. I'm not going to say low prices because I'm not making ads here, people. I'm just talking about stuff, right? And if you talk about stuff, then maybe, just maybe, it comes true. Who knows, right? But thus far, I am unable to calculate how 57 million, you're going to make 57 million doing gig economy work. Now, a lot of you aren't in my position. You didn't get attacked by the Matrix. Your particular profession didn't decide to side with the Matrix and turn you into a brokey. Luckily though, like I said, HEX did exist, Pulse Chain did exist, Pulse X did exist, and INC did exist. Now, not all at once, because we saw there was a long drawn out wait for Pulse Chain. So I'm not sure how other people out there are going right now. I mean, I'm assuming they've got larger bags than us, so I'm sure they're fine. But if they don't have any other source of income, maybe, just maybe, you know, their lifestyles are catching up with them. No. So that's not the point of this stream. The point of this stream is to point out that with this $500, what I'm doing, I am doing a mild, very, very low DCA in, right? A little DCA in every week. Now, I kind of stuffed up week 5. I don't know what I did. I think it was because there was a huge dip on or something, so I bought some extra because I had some spare income because I was doing gig economy work. So no matter how crappy you might think this meager $500 is, it's something, right? It is a lot better than nothing, because initially I thought maybe, just maybe, I could pull out 10,000 Australian, 10,000 Australian, which is about 7,500 US every month for infinity. But alas, the 10,000x did not last, because, you know, that's the price you pay for the highest appreciating asset, is extreme volatility. Now, dropping the F-bomb. Now, recently, what I did, I purchased, now I've hidden some sales lines, rows, columns here, because I'm actually purchasing. I've decided I think it might be a good idea for myself with these small amounts at these depressed prices to purchase HEX, Pulse Chain, and Pulse X. Because if you have a look here, you know, maybe, just maybe, they do some okay stuff. Now, the amount of HEX I did purchase with $38.5, which is $60, which is, you know, not much considering if I earn $500 and I put away $60 a week, you know, the DCA in, I increased it by $10. It was $50. I'm going to increase it to 60. Maybe do that for a couple of weeks and increase it up to maybe 70 and get up to the point where it's 100. And by the end of the 52 weeks, I should have, I'm on track to pay off a credit card in about 70 days or so. And then once I've paid off the credit card, then I have these staking ladders. Once they're due, maybe, just maybe, this money I put away in the past, when it is the present, I will be like, yes, thank you, previous self, for doing that, because now I'll have enough money to do whatever the fuck, to do whatever I want with it. Now, the only thing, this is what I'm working off here, people. I have these 3 notes, right? And I haven't checked chat. I don't think anyone's here. That's fine. Now, what? I hope this is streaming. Yeah, good. All right, cool. I'll keep this under 10 minutes for sure. Now, previously I made a flowchart, and basically there was a few clicks. If you go to something like Change Now, I think that's okay. But this one here if you skip out the whole section of purchasing USDC, sending it to, I think it was Spark Swap on the Binance Smart Chain, and swapping over to a stable DAI, swapping that over to Pulse Chain, you can take one step out further. You can go to your centralized exchange of choice. I put Coinbase as an example. There are others. There are many others. And however you want to get your BNB, you know, rubber bank. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Don't do rubber. But see, BNB, right? BNB, and then I swapped it over to Pulse Chain direct, and then I had my Pulse, and then I bought my Hex, made a stake, swapped over for some Pulse X, and then held my Pulse Chain little tiny bag. And so then what it does, that Pulse keeps growing, the Pulse X keeps growing. Maybe I build up enough on this particular method to start my own validator. Maybe I'll do a journey to how I made my own validator from purchasing Pulse over 52 weeks. Now I'm not sure numbers will add up for that unless I increase the amount I earn. So hopefully maybe I just work some 12-hour shifts, you know. 12-hour shifts. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That would be interesting. Now, where am I going with this? That is about it. That is literally about it. Oh, so as I said before, I guess a bit more about the way I think, different from cryptocurrency, different from, you know, working. I think I have a pretty decent work ethic. However, for some reason, it wasn't appreciated, and, you know, the need to get certain medications was greater than, you know, someone who has a pretty good track record, etc., etc. Now, let's have a look at this before I close with this particular catchphrase, words, I don't know what you call it, but have a look here, right? If you think voting your way out of this bullshit is going to save you from this broke lifestyle that you currently reside in, think again, because government is not coming to save us. We have to push back against them because they work for us. We pay their bills. They should serve us, the people. And I know there's some really, really messed up stuff that's happened in Australia the last week, but for some reason, they never let a good crisis go to waste. And do you know what they do? They roll out the e-safety commissioner censorship. Now, you might see there's some rumblings of legal action against Australian e-safety commission versus Twitter. There's something called a digital ID talking about a digital ID bill, I believe, net zero, you know, the whole push for reduction of things that we have abundance of that is cheap to things that don't work so well, that are more expensive. Turbo migration, because previously it was stop the boats, we don't talk about national security, and now it's like, turbo migration. And also the mis and disinformation bill, which, in light of all the horrible events that took place, I'm not sure if that's the right word, the horrible events that took place, I don't think is a reason to make sure people do not enjoy the freedom of speech, the freedom of political speech here in Australia. Because what I saw, it's unfortunate, I think, is that this e-safety seems to be pushing this "wef, you own nothing and be happy, eat the bugs" narrative that everyone is starting to pick up on, and I think people are getting really, really sick of it. Now, I'm not like some anti-government person, but I'm pointing out to you what I have experienced through the lockdowns, what I've experienced through the wonderful policies that the government, you know, logically thought through, and trusting the science. Although I could have gone along and just, you know, got the medicine, but then so many people now regret, you know, like, I don't know if you know anyone that had any side effects, but my logic was, I don't know what this is. It's not tested. I just want to be ensured that I'm not going to provide informed consent because I want to be ensured that if this happens, I'm not going to get sick. Now, I know a lot of people that have got sick, and it's really unfortunate. I know some people that are fine. So maybe I'm an absolutely crazy, insane loon bird who you shouldn't be listening to, watching him do gig economy work, because he refuses to sell his crypto. Because why? Because crypto might be one of the goddamn only things in the world at the moment that is looking pretty positive. Now, prices might be suppressed. The halving took place. I haven't checked the markets today. I've been tracking the LP amounts in Pulse X. I've been looking at the price of Hex, Pulse X, INC, and the ratio. And when I'm not doing that, you know, just driving around, listening to, enjoying some music, and delivering food. Like, how hard is that, people? It's not quite living the life yet, but I can see the work that I do now will help myself in the future. Now, in closing, You will never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you, but you will only be criticized by someone who is doing less than you. Now, that may reign true, I'm not sure, but I think everyone on the planet needs to understand this, all right? All right. That is my little spiel over. In closing, one more. This is my spreadsheet, right? I'm going to start using Pulse LN now because I don't have to do it. It reduces some clicks. Maybe I do the Ruby Art Exchange, I don't know. Maybe I do change now, but this one seems pretty cool. One more thing. Maybe, just maybe, right? Maybe, just maybe, one new stake adding more. This is hex related, so I'll bring up hex. One new stake adding more. It actually might outpace a singular 5555. All right. That sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but if you do 15555, 15555 over say 1,000 hex, right? It's like the Easter egg stuff, and it turns into 3,000 in 15 years time. What if though? What if? Call me crazy. What? And say that costs $100, but what if I'm DCAing in at say a rate of $20, right? And I keep making these small DCAing stakes in on Pulse Chain because it's nice and cheap and fast. And then what happens, right? And then what happens, eventually I would have put more than maybe that 300 in over time. So under that theory, it might sound mad, but that could be worth more than the one that's outpaced. Now you would say, but you've entered more in, but think about how much money you would have lost through purchasing power because you've seen how the US dollar is performing over the last, 40 years or so, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. I mean, I go to the shop last week and shit's gone up like 10%. No, I'm not kidding, maybe not 10%, but it's going up on the weekly. Okay, if you don't believe me, weekly, say monthly basis. Check a price of something that you like, go back in a month's time, check the price again, and I guarantee you in this economy, regardless of where you are, it has got more expensive. That means, that's why I was thinking with this hex, if I were to have some liquid, it makes no sense to have liquid because if you have, say, $100, $200 in a savings account, now, even at about 5%, you're getting about maybe 1 cent a day. If you have about $100 in hex and you put it into a stake for God knows how long, one day, even 7%, you're most likely going to get more than 1 cent a day. Because remember, crypto is money. You can take your crypto and get money for it. So when you see this figure here, okay, you're talking about your little tokens, whatever you want to play with, whether Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulse Chain, Hex, if you have a look here, right, and you earn 1 Hex token for free, you've been given almost 1 cent. Now that sounds stupid. Oh, it's only 1 cent. It's like, no, that shit can add up. You don't understand the power of compound interest, people. No, I mean, clearly you guys do, but maybe people who are working gig economy could appreciate. Just imagine if while you're working, not doing anything, the money on your screen was going up and to the right. That would be pretty cool, yeah? Imagine if you had an app and say that figure there, right? That $508.09. Imagine if I just left it there. Left it for 15 years. And I could take out whenever I want. Imagine if I left it for 15 years and the money just kept growing and growing and growing. I could keep just skimming off the top. Wouldn't that be brilliant? Well, that's what I'm trying to do with these ladders, right? And I swear to God, I turned you off, Outlook. You're going to troll me with Solo Stove? Lol. Now, I think on that note, I will close. I hope that made sense. And just remember these wise words that I heard, right? Never be criticized by someone who's doing more than you. Only be someone whinging and bitching, complaining about something that they're not doing. They're most likely doing less, right? So anyone out there that streams or makes content or goes on X, whatever, not like the party drug, but the actual, like, formerly Twitter, just remember that, because there might be some people in the background doing a lot and you're not hearing shit from them. So, yeah, anyway. All right, so free speech, wrapping this one up. I will just check if we have chat because I'm only getting one chat through at the moment. Look. I mean, I could edit it out, but why bother editing? Why bother people? Look. All right, no one is here. There is someone watching. No, there's not watching. I'm not sure who's watching. All right, cool. Anyway, peace out, people.